So boys, one of the best times of the year, MLB The Show 18 is officially dropped on the PS4 because the 4-day thing where you get it early if you order it on digital. So today we finally have a copy of The Show 18, and obviously we're going to start off our franchise mode for this season today. So we did a poll. We're at 5 teams on the list of who you guys can vote for to be my franchise in The Show 18. On the list, we had the Baltimore Orioles, we had the Tampa Bay Rays, we had the Los Angeles Angels, plus we had the Detroit Tigers and the Kansas City Royals on that list. Now those 5 teams, the winner of all those 5 turned out to be the Baltimore Orioles. The Orioles in the American League East. They're in a tough division with the Boston Red Sox in there, the New York Yankees, the Rays, it's not so tough at all, and the Blue Jays, it's kind of iffy right there. But we have 2 dominant teams in the American League East. It's going to be a dogfight basically to get out of the American League East and make the playoffs in the first couple years as franchise mode. Because with the team the Yankees have, they could probably win the pennant in their first season if they really wanted to. With Stanton, with Judge, with Gary Sanchez in their bullpen. It just all seems to work out for the New York Yankees. But right now we're focused on the Baltimore Orioles right now. 22nd ranked in the game right now with their roster. 13th in contact, 5th for power, 25th for pitching, 18 in defense, 30 for speed, and we have a $93.5 million budget compared to the Yankees who have $131 million. But the Orioles, one of the better teams, like they have one of the better color schemes and logos and uniforms, I'd say, in MLB. The color scheme just seems to work, so it'll look nice on the thumbnails and all that kind of stuff. But we'll go and proceed. So we have GM contracts on, no fantasy draft, no legend free agents. We don't want the CPU controlling the roster. We have CPU trading, no ignore budgets, and the same old kind of stuff right there, with the designated hitter still on right there. So right now it says coaching tasks, welcome to the Orioles. You have coaching tasks, you have player development tasks, and general manager tasks. Okay, so we have coaching. You could probably set that manually for the first couple of things. We'll just see where it goes right there. We have player development tasks. Okay, so we'll go, I want to do some scouting a bit, so we'll leave that on manual. And general manager tasks. Okay, so with that, I'm just going to leave on manual because I want as much control as possible in this franchise mode. I don't need people getting released or traded or signed randomly on my team. I want full control here on the Orioles. Let's go advance. So we're going to start off in, I believe, we'll just start off spring training, I guess, and just look at the roster and all that kind of stuff, because we could always just sim that anyway. So right now we have the spring training screen. Looks a lot different this season. They have changed a little bit of the interface, well, not a little bit, a lot of the interface. Looks way better this season with the background and the way they set this thing up. So right now they have roster, lineups, pitching rotation, the goals, the budgets. On this screen you have free agents, scouting, trades. Seems to be the same kind of setup as it was last year, just different color scheme and font and all that kind of stuff right there. Yeah, it seems to be everything about the same in the same position. But we'll take a look at our roster right now as it is. So top player on the roster, officially now a shortstop, is Manny Machado. They changed his position this season. So he's 89 overall, 25 years old, A potential. He's our best player in this roster, and we have to keep him around this season because I believe he is a free agent in the 2018 MLB free agency. So we got to go and keep him around Baltimore, because otherwise our team just won't look the same without Manny Machado in the lineup. Then second we have Jonathan Schoop there at second base, 86 overall, 26 years old. Let's go check out some of his stuff right here on his card. So his attributes, great contact, power is alright, he's got some arm strength, durability, and we'll take a look at his quirks. So he's a hitting machine, he's got a cannon, unbreakable, and first pitch hitter there for his quirks. And yeah, he just seems to be a solid player at second base for us this franchise mode. Manny Machado will check out his quirks as well right now. Attributes, solid player all around, I'd say so myself. His quirks, he has soft hands, he's a cannon, a sniper, unbreakable, and a situational hitter. So it's good to see that in Manny Machado. But next up we do have Zach Britton there, our closing pitcher, 85 overall, 30 years old. One of the more clutch players, I'd say, in MLB for pitching in the bullpen. But Zach Britton there, got his stats, let's go check out his quirks. He is angry right now. He's at 89 overall normally, so right now he's pissed because he doesn't have his contract and the coaching doesn't seem to be top tier like he wants it to be. So if you want this Zach Britton to stay around, it looks like we have to get some better coaching here in Baltimore. But his quirks, he's a pressure cooker, performs better when there's runners on base, grounded, doesn't throw a lot of home runs, sinker baller, and a homebody. Okay, so that's Zach Britton right there. Next up, we have Darren O'Day, 35 years old, 83 overall, a potential. Next up, we have Tim Beckham at third base, 81 overall. To go to his quirks and his attributes right there, there's his attributes. And his quirks are night player, first pitch hitter, dead red, and rally monkey. Okay, that's Tim Beckham. Then Trey Mancini, we have 81 overall, 26 years old, another young player there at left field. Let's check out his quirks. So his attributes, pretty solid contact hitter right there. He's clutch, he's got durability to him, and he's a hitting machine, pressure cooker, and dead red. Okay, and he seems to be, look at his versus left and versus right. It seems like he's on fire when it comes to hitting the baseball, though. That's good to see that. But that's Trey Mancini. Then in relief, you have Michael Givens at is 80 overall, 27 years old. Givens is a relief pitcher, so we have another relief pitcher there in 80 overalls, along with Darren O'Day. And I guess in as a closer, Zach Britton. Then we have Adam Jones there at center field, 80 overall, 32 years old, C potential. He seems to be going down in overall in the past couple of years, but he's still a solid player to me at least. He's got great contact against righties, power against righties, and he's clutch and has good durability. And his quirks are a pressure cooker, and he's a platoon. Okay. Then next up, you have Brad Brock. He's a 79 overall, 31 years old, closing pitcher, so another closing pitcher there along with Zach Britton, so we could throw him in the bullpen. And then we have Kevin Gausman there, 79 overall, 27 years old, starting pitcher. So it seems to be our first starting pitcher here in the overall. He's a 79 overall, so that says a lot about our starting pitching because we need to work on that a lot in this franchise mode if we want to be successful in this franchise mode in entirety. But Gausman, check out his stuff right there. He's got some decent stats for his attributes, and to go with his quirks. He has no quirks, okay. Next up, we have Chris Davis there at first base. I believe he's a home running hitting machine, but he's 79 overall, 32 years old, Chris Davis. His power against righties is insane, 98 overall for power against righties. Other than that, though, it seems to be pretty pathetic for contact and his power. So, kind of a more one-trick pony there, hitting power against righties there for Chris Davis. Otherwise, he kind of sucks. But his quirks are a walker, okay. Then next we have Dylan Bundy there, 25 years old, 75 overall, our second starting pitcher there in the roster. So our starting pitching is kind of a mess, but we'll figure that out eventually. But Dylan Bundy, there's his stats right there, his quirks. He doesn't have any right now, as of right now. But next up we have Colby Rasmus, former Blue Jay himself, 75 overall, 31 years old in right field. It's nice to see Colby again because he's one of the more, I guess he's a decent player. Like, he's one of the better players you can pick up in the free agency if you need a fielder. He's got great power, contact is pretty pathetic, but other than that though, he's a decent fielder to have on your team. Next up on the roster, Richard Blair, I think how you say his name. He's 74 overall, 30 years old. I tried looking up this guy's name on Google Translate to go and like how to pronounce it, and it seems to be that Google thinks it's Norwegian, and apparently if you translate Blair in Norwegian to English, it means diapers. So literally, his name is Richard Diapers if you kind of count it in English. But diapers nonetheless, 74 overall, 30 years old, another relief pitcher on the roster. Next up, we have Danny Valencia there in right field, 74 overall, 33 years old. Then we have Gabriel Noah at 74 overall, 24 years old as starting pitcher. Next up, we have Andrew Kashner, the guy they signed, another player they signed in the free agency in real life this season, 73 overall, 31 years old. Then at catcher we have Caleb Joseph there, 72 overall, 31 years old. Is he our actual starting catcher though? I think he actually is though, that's pretty bad. So it seems to be Caleb is our starting catcher there at 72 overall. That's kind of sad, but unless he is our starter. But next up we have Mark Trumbo there in right field, 72 overall, 32 years old. I thought Mark Trumbo had a great year last year, did he? He's got great power, but let's see this. Nah, I didn't have a good year really. He had 23 home runs, but not the greatest year for Mark Trumbo when it comes to hitting the baseball, when it comes to average. But next up we have Johan Vargas in the minors. We have Rosado. So these are more, I guess, auto-generated players that are for the minors. And then we have Chris Tillman there, 65 overall, 29 years old. He had a terrible year last year, so that's why he dropped so bad. But Chris Tillman, sad to see him down at 65 overall, though. It just kind of sucks. But Anyways, that was our main roster players. Now the auto-generated top 50 players. We have a 64 overall 23-year-old at second base with Rufus Reese. Then we have a catcher there at 64 overall, 23 years old, A potential, and Chance Cisco, so it's kind of good to see that. Then we have like Josh Edgin, we have Joey Rickard, like some of these guys. A lot of these guys can get cut actually, but 60 overall, 20-year-old Bobby Unger at starting pitcher there at A potential, so that's not too bad right there. Anything else for decent young players? And it doesn't really seem to be much there for the minors. It's kind of decent system, but other than that, though, a lot of Ds and not a lot of great players there for the minors in general. But nonetheless, so there was the roster right there. We'll take a look at the lineups now and see how everybody kind of pieces in the puzzle. So right now in a right-handed DH lineup, you have Tim Beckham leading us off, Trey Mancini there, 81 overall in the second spot, and then Manny Machado in third, Chris Davis at cleanup, then we have Jonathan Schoop, Adam Jones, Mark Trumbo, Colby Rasmus, then we have Caleb Joseph there at catcher at the bottom of the order. Then we have no DH, we have Tim Beckham leading us off, Trey Mancini, Manny Machado, Chris Davis, Jonathan Schoop, Adam Jones, Mark Trumbo, Caleb Joseph, and Kevin Gausman are basically our ace of the lineup. Then we have left-handed pitching with a DH, we have Tim Beckham, you have Danny Valencia there in right field, we have Manny Machado, we have Chris Davis, Trey Mancini, we have Jonathan Schoop, Mark Trumbo, Adam Jones, you have Andrew Suzak there at catcher at 69 overall at the bottom of the order. Then no DH, we have Tim Beckham, Danny Valencia, Manny Machado, Chris Davis, Trey Mancini, Jonathan Schoop, Adam Jones, Andrew Suzak, and Kevin Gausman. So that is our starting lineup right there. On the bench right now for the spring training, we have like Chance Cisco there. You have a couple other the dudes right there, but it seems like our minors isn't the greatest, and even like we do have a couple positions on this team, such as catcher, that need to be filled pretty much ASAP because it's just so bad seeing the overall we have at catcher, though. It kind of sucks to see that. So other than that, though, it seems like the rest of the positions seem not too bad for overalls. Take a look at that for individual positions. So our starting pitching, we have Kevin Gausman, Dylan Bundy, Gabriel Noah, Andrew Kashner, Johan Vargas, and Antone Rosado. And then at relief, we have Darren O'Day, Michael Gibbons, Richard Diapers, and we have Donnie Hart, we have Miguel Castro, and Frank Gutierrez. Then closing pitchers, we have Zach Britton, Brad Brock. Then we have catchers, we have Caleb Joseph at 72 overall, 31 years old, Andrew Suzak, Jonah Snyder, and Chance Cisco. Then at first base, we have Chris Davis, Sean Hills. Then at second base, we have Jonathan Schoop and Rufus Reese, a top 50 player in the minors. Then we have third baseman, we have Tim Beckham, we have Bob McDonald at backup. Shortstop, you have Manny Machado and Alexi Gardiado. Left field, we have Trey Mancini, 81 overall. Then we have Andres Torres, and it looks like Santander right there in left field. Then we have center fielders, we have Adam Jones and Austin Hayes. Then right field, we have Colby Rasmus and Danny Valencia, plus Mark Trumbo. So our depth is really bad right now because we don't really have that great of depth at all for most of the positions, really. Because take a look at starting pitcher. We don't really have that great of depth for starting pitcher, actually. It kind of sucks really bad, but relief pitchers, not that good either. Closing pitchers, actually, it's pretty good. Catchers, we have no really good depth. First base, not really that great of depth. Second base, same here. Third, we have shortstop, left field, center field. Right field seems to be the more better position for backups, but the rest is all really suck right now. So we can take a look at free agency and see what's on there. But first, we'll take a look at our pitching rotation. So right now, number one, our ace on the team seems to be Kevin Gausman. There's 79 overall. Second, we have Dylan Bundy at 75. Gabriel Noah at 74. Andrew Kashner at 73. And Asher Wojciechowski. I'm just going to call him Asher Waj, basically, but 69 overall. And then our bullpen right now, it seems to be pretty big because of spring training, but after the training is done, we'll go and just fiddle around and see what we have right there for the bullpen. But it seems to be Zach Britton's the best player in the bullpen. Then we have Darren O'Day, Brad Brock, or actually Michael Gibbons, then Brad Brock, and so on. But next we'll take a look at our free agency, see what's kind of on there for free agents, because right now our team sucks so bad right now, and we need all the help we can get as of right now. So Relief pitchers, we have Trevor Rosenthal, we have Tony Zych, we have Joe Blanton, and then at starting pitcher we have Henderson Alvarez there, 77. He'd literally be a second player in a rotation if we sign him though, that's pretty sick. But then we have closing pitcher, we have Greg Holland. We don't really need another closing pitcher, but he'd probably make a decent addition to the bullpen. Then we have Jeremy Hellickson at starting pitcher, John Lackey, Brandon Phillips at second base would be good depth, Andre Ethier at left field, he wouldn't be that bad for depth either. Melky Cabrera there at 75 overall at left field, that wouldn't be that bad actually. Let's see him actually. So Melky's got great contact. Other than that though, he kind of sucks, but it actually wouldn't be that bad to have him on the bench in the field because we have no depth at all in the field right now, so we can really take anything that we can get. But Melky, let's see if he has any quirks. He does have quirks. 20/20 vision, pressure cooker, unbreakable, breaking ball hitter, and fighter. So if there's one man we want to sign, it's going to be Melky Cabrera there for the bench. And then next up we have JP Howell there for relief, Yunel Escobar there at shortstop. Let's see, yeah, he's got actually great contact though, 94 against lefties, 81 against righties. He'd be a great backup for us too. But we have Alex Cobb, who was signed in real life, so should we actually just sign him in here? I'll probably wait until the next episode, but Alex Cobb was signed in real life to the Orioles, so it'd make more sense if he actually got him here for the franchise mode. But I'll leave it till like the next episode before we do any major roster moves, such as signing people. But we have Ryan Cabrera and so on. I'll just move down the lineup and just show you guys all the free agents right now. Right there. We have Jose Bautista there, 71 overall. He dropped so bad last year. It's insane to see his overall starting last year. Then how it ended off at like a 71 basically. But anything else on here for free agents? We have a couple young players there, 69 overall, 18 years old at first base and relief. Then it seems to be nothing else right there. So next up, we'll take a look at our anything else to do in here. We could probably take a look at our morale and see who's happy, see who's sad kind of thing. But looks to be Mark Trumbo's happy, so he's normally a 68, now he's at a 72. Trey Mancini's at a 77, now jumped up to an 81 because of his morale. Tim Beckham, same thing. Chris Davis there is 79 now after the morale boost. Adam Jones 77 to an 80 with the morale boost. So it seems to be the only one who seems to be pissed right now is, who's actually pissed? Michael Gibbons and Zach Britton of all people. So they're even better than I thought they were, but for some reason they're mad out of no reason. I guess they're kind of probably pissed at coaching staff, but like it kind of sucks when it's coaching staff because I'd rather just make those changes in the offseason, but it seems to be they're just angry right now for no reason. But nonetheless, it would be better if we get better coaching staff and if they had a better contract. So that was the first episode of the Orioles franchise mode. Basically, it was just taking a look at the team, seeing what we had, all that kind of stuff. Next episode will be all the simming, the signing, and making the major changes on the team, and actually making an indent on this Orioles roster. But anyway, thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next episode.